From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to remind you there is a free Weather NorCal app. I want you to go check it out today here. All you got to do is go to your App Store or the Google Play Store, search for Weather NorCal. You'll see this right here. Click on Install, and you've got everything Weather NorCal has to offer right there on your phone, including this weather update, the live 24-hour streaming channel, your neighborhood forecast, the works. Check it out today. All right, here's your look at your weather headlines. We do have the warming trend going into this week, and really temperatures are probably going to peak somewhere around Wednesday. We do have the typical summer heat this week. Temperatures kind of going up and down a little bit here, but nothing really unusual. No major heat waves, no major drops in those temperatures. We do expect hot, dry conditions, and not to mention those afternoon winds continuing. You know, with those winds kind of die down overnight, early morning hours, and then they kind of pick back up in the afternoon. Slight dip in our temperatures, though, as we go into the weekend, and not to mention early next week. So here's your neighborhood forecast at a glance. Again, another hot start to the week. Temperatures about 100 degrees here for the valley, not to mention parts of Trinity County. Mainly in the mid-90s, though, for most of the higher elevations and the coast. Yeah, there's the cool spot. Temperatures in the low 60s for your afternoon. Let's take a look at that smoke forecast. And, you know, the thing is, we're seeing less activity coming in from the park fire, which is good because that means, obviously, the fire isn't spreading as rapidly. Number two, it's just not producing as much smoke. So, yes, there will be those plumes of smoke as we go into the afternoon and evening hours, but as we go into the overnight and early morning hours, you can see less smoke, less haze, and then, of course, for tomorrow afternoon, kind of repeat that pattern again, even going into your Tuesday night. So again, the smoke really not that big of a concern, air quality getting better, but there will be periods of time for some of us, especially close to the fire, that could be looking at some poor air quality at times. There's your humidity levels. They are dropping as we go through the rest of the afternoon today. They're going to drop again going into your Tuesday, and well, that's going to be the case here for your Wednesday as well. So I was talking about the hot and dry conditions. Well, that's pretty much going to continue here for the rest of through the middle of the week, and of course probably longer than that as well. It's standard, it's typical, and this is typical as well. You've got the high fire danger for the north end of the valley, central Siskiyou County, moderate to high fire danger in Modoc County, Laston County. We're taking to Tuesday, same situation. It may drop slightly, especially off to the northeast, but still that moderate to high fire danger, and that continues into your Wednesday. So again, status quo. The fire potential here is looking at the potential for some winds for your Tuesday. So this is something that we need to keep a close eye on as we go into the next 24 hours. But again, I'm not expecting any major wind events, but they may be a bit elevated for some of those higher elevations for tomorrow afternoon. The monsoon moisture is down to the south. There's also some tropical activity, if you will, down to our south. That may impact us in the form of a few clouds later on this week, but that's going to be the extent of it. I'm not expecting any rainfall, and you can see that fog is going to have a hard time burning off this afternoon, but tomorrow, yeah, we may see a bit more sunshine for folks along the coast here, and then you can see as we go into tomorrow night and into Wednesday, that fog kind of comes back. Now, remember I was talking about some of that moisture coming in from some of that tropical activity from the south. That's going to bring us some clouds. Now, Futurecast is picking up on a little bit of shower activity. Not going to happen, but I do expect that it may feel a little bit more muggy than we're used to, but overall, nothing unusual for this time of the year. Now, you can see that heat wave for this week. We're going to see a minor increase in our temperatures through the middle of the week. That's the peak. And then for the rest of the week, as we go to Thursday, Friday, through the weekend, that area of high pressure just slowly shifts down to the south and east and begins to weaken, especially by the time we get into the end of the weekend and early next week. And this is when we can expect our temperatures to begin to drop. You see this cooler air right here, this trough of low pressure. Cooler air is associated with that, and that's going to allow our temperatures to drop as we get into early next week. We'll certainly take it because this is what we have in store for us today. Yeah, temperatures about 100 degrees, give or take, for most of us in the valley, and we've got those 70s, 80s, and 90s, depending on where you are, in the higher elevations. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook. We'll start off with the valley, with temperatures just kind of hovering around 100 to 105 for places like Redding, for Red Bluff, Yeah, we could drop down to the upper 90s for both Red Bluff and Chico sometime this weekend, but overall, keeping those temperatures around normal, if not just slightly above normal for this time of the year. For the coast, mid-60s. Again, we're going to be looking at some afternoon clearing throughout the week, but for the most part, that marine layer is holding on pretty strong. And there you can see for the inland areas, again, that slight dip in the temperatures later this weekend, early next week, and it's also the case for places like Trinity County as well. Let's take a look at your Siskiyou County, your Modoc County, and Eastern Mountains forecast, keeping it fairly warm for the rest of this week, but by the weekend and even into early next week, we'll see that dip in those temperatures.
We're the locals down the street. The neighbor you come to for advice. A nest egg for the golden years. A loan or a new account for that growing business. What started in Chico 50 years ago has taken us all around California, providing big bank lending power and high-tech service, while keeping our relationships personal. We're still the locals down the street, no matter where your street might be. Tri-Counties Bank, California's local bank.